Hare Krishna, everybody. Today we'll start with Jayarada Madhava, and today we'll be doing session 3 of Gopi Geet. Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Yashodanandana Vrajavinoda Yashodanandana Vrajavinoda Natira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Yashodanandana Vrajavinoda, Yashodanandana Vrajavinoda, Munatira Vanachari, Munatira Vanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining in the Kirtan. We'll offer our respects and we'll start chanting our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Taksharam Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we have come to session 3 of Gopi Gita session, and so Gopi Gita that we are discussing is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 31, verse 1. So we discussed yesterday and the previous days about the 6 Gopi Gitas of Bhagavatam and how Bhagavatam is the cream of all Vedic scriptures, and in that cream we see that Gopi Gita is treated as the burfi of the Bhagavatam itself. So previously we have discussed Venu Gita, we have also discussed Pranay Gita yesterday, and today it is actually Gopi Gita session. And we found that the gopis have because of getting attracted to Krishna's flute, left their homes. They run in the middle of the night through the dark forest just to see Krishna, and Krishna dissuades them or rejects them, and he asks them to go away even though he wants them to stay. But the gopis argue now with Krishna that how can you ask us to go away? We would give our lives if you ask us to go away. And that was Pranay Gita. And in order to make the gopis satisfied, Krishna agrees and initiates for a rasa dance, and the gopis and Krishna dance. And during that dance, when the gopis, because of the potency of the pastime potency, they get the pride, and then they think, oh, we have got the attention of Krishna. So, and that little pride was understood by Krishna, and Krishna immediately vanishes. And the gopis now madly are searching for Krishna but couldn't find. So what could they do? They weep, they cry that they could not meet their beloved again. They go to the banks of river Yamuna and they begin praying so they could see their beloved again, and they ask for Krishna's audience. And that part where each of the gopis are singing and glorifying their lordship. That part is called this Gopi Geeta, which they sing when they are in separation from Krishna. We know that the gopis have dedicated their minds, their hearts, their lives, their soul to Krishna, and now when they couldn't see Krishna, they were in transcendental pain. Um, their crying might appear to be some sort of misery, but it actually shows how exalted these personalities are. As it is said in this verse, Yaka Deka Vaishnavera Vyavahara Dukkha Nishchaya Janiha Se Paramananda Sukha. So whenever a Vaishnava is acting unhappy, one should know for sure that he is actually experiencing the highest spiritual bliss. So the gopis, it seems that they are unhappy, but in fact they are enjoying their highest spiritual bliss. So each gopi, as we discussed yesterday, in Gopi Geeta there are 19 verses, and each gopi is trying to express one's own ecstasy of the separation from the Lord. And each one is praying for the mercy of Krishna. As and when the pastimes of Krishna arise in the minds of gopis, they sang these verses in order for them to relieve that agony of separation from Krishna. They felt at this time even a moment of separation from Krishna was like an age, was like a millennium for them. So such ecstasy expressed by the gopis should not be treated in a material form. We should take it in a spiritual form. And a devotee says that normally we just should not be only be happy by listening to pastimes, and we should try to understand the philosophy behind it. And Vaishnavas has compared this pastimes to a sweet rice. By sweet rice, we in the sweet rice there is some cardamom, there is some camphor which is put to actually enhance the taste, right? But if we just give the camphor and cardamom in a plate to people to eat, would they like it? No. Similarly, if people try to taste the sweet rice along with some camphor and cardamom, only they relish it to the highest. So similarly, these pastimes also should be had with little bit of the philosophy, the tattva. We equate the cardamom and the camphor to the philosophy behind these pastimes. So Vaishnava say that we have to have the philosophy and the pastimes together, and that's when you can relish the pastimes to a higher degree. And in this verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, while he writes this commentary on these verses, he says that he has no qualification to comment on such exalted gopis and devotees of Krishna. He mentions that people would laugh at him or mock at him, saying, he's such a foolish person trying to comment on such exalted personalities. Or they would think of him as a merchant who's selling precious jewels without knowing the actual price of such jewels. However, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually says, I write commentary on these verses to purify myself and also to entertain such people who mock at me or at him. So we can appreciate the love for gopis by seeing how these Vaishnavas or exalted devotees appreciate such pastimes. So we cannot directly appreciate such pastimes, but we can see and follow how the exalted devotees are appreciating the pastimes, and then we can actually relish them or appreciate them. In order to appreciate such pastimes, we also should understand the greatness of Krishna, and senior Vaishnavas compare Krishna's position to that of an engine of a car. It seems when the car was once invented, they first devised the engine first, and then the body, then the seats, then the AC to the car, then the color of the car, and so forth and so on. So basically, Krishna, his his stand or his position should be understood. Then the philosophy should be backed to these pastimes, and then we'll be able to understand these pastimes and relish it in the following the path of the acharyas. So let's begin by chanting these verses from the Gopi Geet, and we can discuss verse by verse however it suits us based on the time. Gopya Uchuhu. Let's try to sing this verse. Yeah, you can sing along with me. Jayati te dikam janmana vraja shrayata indira shashvadatrahi daita drisyatam dikshu tavakas Tvayi drishta savas tvamichinvate. The gopis said, O beloved, your birth in the land of Vraja has made it exceedingly glorious, and thus Indira, the goddess of fortune, always resides here. It's only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives, and we have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. The gopis in this verse appreciate the land of Vrindavan, and they're glorifying that because of Krishna's appearance, that the Vrindavan is increasing the glories of this earth, the universe. It is said that Krishna doesn't take birth, he appears. In Bhagavad Gita 4.9 also it says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, upon leaving this body, takes his birth again in this material world. So it is said that Krishna only appears. He is not like a normal living being who is forced to take birth. Right? It is not that he is compelled to take birth because of his previous karma or due to the arrangement of any material nature. Krishna is unborn. He is the Lord of all living entity. We are actually forced to take birth because of the modes of material nature, because of our desire to enjoy. So, why does Krishna have to appear? It is said to give some solace or to the devotees who are suffering from his separation. He descends to the earth, he gives his association, he gives his pastimes, so the devotees can hear and relish and have some solace for themselves. And if you see, like Srila Prabhupada would have given Krishna book for a start, even before he had completed Srimad Bhagavatam, he gave us Krishna book in which the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam purpose is all being covered in the form of pastimes. There is philosophy in Krishna book, but it's mostly pastime along with the philosophy. And in fact, it is said that Krishna's pastimes are the amazing stories, and Krishna's pastimes are the amazing drama that one could ever see. So Krishna appears on this earth. He performs his pastimes principally in three different places. We know they are Mathura, Vrindavan, and Dwaraka. In Mathura, it is Mathura Leela, Vrindavan Leela, and then Dwaraka Leela. And in Mathura, Krishna actually appears in Devaki's womb. He is born as the eighth son. And when Kamsa understood that when the eighth son of Devaki and Vasudeva are born, he would come to kill him. So what did he do? He found whenever Devaki was giving birth to a child, he would come and immediately kill them off. Like this, 6 babies were born and he immediately killed them. When the 7th baby was about to be born, which was Balaram, the Balaram was transferred from the womb of Devaki to Rohini Maya's womb. That was during the 8th month. But it appeared as though, and everybody understood that or thought that Devaki had a miscarriage. When Kamsa heard that the 7th child was miscarriage, then he was upset. He came to see if it is true or not. Indeed, he saw her bleeding, and then he felt like, okay. But still, he was very cautious because the next child would come to kill him. So he stranded them with chains and he kept them separately. And Krishna is not born like a normal child. So when he was going to be born, he appeared from the heart of Vasudeva and he was transported to the womb of Devaki. And when Krishna was born, Krishna actually gave an idea, and he was born with 4 arms, right? So the parents were actually surprised to see, and he was in fact talking to the parents, and he was saying, "You transport me by taking me to Yashoda Maya's place in Nandagram, and bring Yashoda Maya would have given birth to a girl baby or a girl child. You bring her here and replace me with the girl child." Vasudeva also took the same instructions, and he took young Krishna, the baby Krishna, and he went. So this was all by the potency of the Lord. This was all arranged, and he quietly took, and the soldiers who were taking care of them were all made to sleep. The chains went off. Yeah, Vasudeva could carry the baby, and he took the baby through the river, and he actually went to Nanda Maharaj's place, and he actually saw that because of the exhaustion of giving birth to a child, Yashoda Maya was sleeping, and he could easily get the girl baby, and replace Krishna over there. And he brought the girl baby here, and as he gave to Devaki, again the chains had come to his hands, and the soldiers were alert, and they were quickly coming to see what has happened. In fact, Kamsa, as soon as he knew that the baby was born, he came to see what had happened, and at that time he realized the 8th child was a girl. And then he was definitely thinking, okay, now I have to, whatever it is, I have to kill the child. So saying, he had taken big sword to kill this baby, and this baby just goes off from his hand. And then she stands there and she's saying, in the 8-handed form, she says, "I am Maya Devi. How are you able to kill me, Kamsa? Is it even possible? How do you even think that it is possible? I'm Mahamaya. But please note down that the eighth child has already been born and he's definitely going to come and kill you. So saying, she left. She disappears. Meanwhile, Yashodamaya and Nanda Maharaj enjoy the newborn baby and they're celebrating them. And we see during the seventh day when the Krishna was born, Putana, the demon, had come to kill him. It was arranged by Kamsa, and Kamsa in fact instructed Putana to kill all the babies that were born around that area in that particular time of the year. Next, the demon called Trinavata had come down to kill Krishna in the form of a terrible wind. Again, Krishna defeats the Trinavata demon as well. So, like this, Krishna appeared in the land of Vraja and defeated all the obstacles that had come to in between him and his devotees. So let's move on to the next verse. That's why gopis glorify because of the birth or appearance of Krishna. The Vraja has gained all the glories and is spreading the glories of the earth, or spreading the glories of Vrindavan everywhere. Next verse, text 2. Let's sing the Sanskrit. Saradudasaye sadhu jata sad sarasi jodara shri musadrisha Suratanatate sulkadasika Varadanignato Neha Kimmada. O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the world of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maid servants who have given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? The gopis glorify the beauty of his glance to that of a lotus. Text 3. Visarjalapyayad Vyalarakshasad Varshamarutad Vaidyutanalad Vrishamahatimadad Vishvatobayad Rishabhatevayam Rakshita Muhu. O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poisoned water, from terrible man-eater Aga, from the greatest rains, from wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. So the gopis are implying that you have saved us from so many demons like Aga, from the poisoned water, from the wind demon even, and now we are actually dying because of separation from you. Won't you save us again? It is their argument. Nakalu gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehinam Antaratmadre Vekanasatito Vishwaguptaye Saka Udeivan Satvakam Kule. You are not actually the son of the Gopi Yashoda, O friend, but rather indwelling witness in the hearts of all embodied souls. Because Lord Brahma prayed for you to come and protect the universe, you have now appeared in the Satvata dynasty. So again the gopis are saying, you are not born, you have descended to protect this entire universe. How can you neglect us? Virachitabayam Vrishniduryate Charanamiyusham Samsmritirbhayat Karasaroruham Kantakamada Sirasi Dehina Shrikaragraham. O best of Vrishnis, your lotus-like hand, which holds the hand of the goddess of fortune, grants fearlessness to those who approach your feet out of fear of material existence. O lover, please place that wish-fulfilling lotus hands on our head. We know how gopis are now requesting Krishna's glance. They are requesting Krishna um, to be present before them. They are also requesting Krishna to place the lotus hands on their heads. Text 6. Vrajavinoda Mataji Nij Jana Smaya Dvamsana Smita Bhaja Sake Bhavat Kinkari Smano Jalaruhananam Charudarshaya. So, O you who destroy the suffering of Rajas people, O hero of all women, your smile shatters the false pride of your devotees. Please, dear friend, accept us as your maid servants and show us your beautiful lotus face. So they are requesting Krishna again to accept the gopis as the maid servants and to show his beautiful face. Pranatadehinam papakarshanam Trinacharunugam Sriniketanam Fani fanarpitam Te padambuja Krinupukeshu sna Krindihrekchayam. Your lotus feet destroy the past sins of all embodied souls who surrender to them. Those feet follow after the cows in the pastures and are the eternal abode of the goddess of fortune. Since you once put those feet on the hoods of great serpents Kalia, please place them on our breasts and tear away the lust in our hearts. The gopis point out that Krishna had once kept his foot on the hoods of Kalia. He is also given the opportunity for the goddess of fortune to actually hold it, and it also actually uh, helps destroys the past sins of the embodied souls who surrender onto the lotus feet. So the gopis put these arguments and asks, why not Krishna? Why don't you give us that lotus feet and bless us with your lotus feet on us? Madhuraya gira Valguvakyaya Buddha Manojnaya Pushkare Kshana Vidikaririma Viramuyati Adara Sindhuna Yayashvasanaha. O lotus-eyed one, your sweet voice and charming words, which attract the minds of the intelligent, are bewildering us more and more. Our dear hero, please revive your maid servants with the nectar of your lips. Again, they're glorifying the lotus eyes of Krishna, your sweet voice, and the charming words that would attract the minds of all intelligent people. So this verse 9, is very important. We'll go through word by word. First, let's recite it and then we'll go. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavi bireditam kalpasapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatata Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Jana. So, translation. The nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filling with spiritual power. Certainly, those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. Purport: King Prataparudra recited this verse to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during during Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra festival. While the Lord was resting in a garden, King Prataparudra humbly entered and began massaging his legs and lotus feet. Then the king recited 31st chapter of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Song of the Gopis. The Chaitanya Charitamrita relates that when Lord Chaitanya heard this verse beginning Tava Katamratam, he immediately arose in ecstatic love and embraced King Prataparudra. So this particular incident is also quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 14:4 to 18th verse. So what happens is, on the occasion of Snana Yatra in Jagannath Puri, Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra retired to their quarters to take some rest, to get some to revive themselves or recover themselves from the cold that they caught because of the Snana Yatra. So Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees in Jagannath Puri felt extreme separation from the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya decided to walk 14 miles from Brahmagiri to Alarnath to receive some solace by reciprocation with the Lord, who is actually Krishna. Lord Chaitanya would come to Puri for Rath Yatra, but although he was seeing the Lord at the Rath Yatra, he was not satisfied. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the mood of Srimati Radharani. And when she sees that Lord Jagannath is dressed in legal garments, riding on a chariot, and in a procession, being respected by everybody, and she feels like as though she sees Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So she didn't feel the same. She knew Krishna as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, playing his flute along with the cows, picking flowers, playing with the cowherd boys. And when she didn't feel the same when she saw him in Jagannath Puri, and seeing him amidst the gopas, and he used to be covered with dust. So she makes a comparison, and she used to see him in the banks of river Yamuna, and she couldn't comprehend this royal procession and the garments that he wore, and the mood in which they saw Krishna was with respect and royalty. And she explains that it is not the same Krishna, the way I see you now. So please come back to Vrindavan, is what she asks. In the Rath Yatra, Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of Radharani. So she wanted him also to bring him back to Vrindavana. So during Rath Yatra, Lord Chaitanya felt exhausted. right? So he went and he retired in the garden. At that time, King Pratap Rudra comes, and even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to see him initially because he was a king, and usually the saintly persons don't see kings or associate with kings mostly because of their materialistic nature. But in fact, King Prataparudra was a great devotee as well. And in order to do some service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, King Prataparudra massages his feet. And he recites the 10th canto of Bhagavatam and the Gopi Geet. And while Lord Chaitanya hears this particular verse, Tava Katamritam, he actually, Lord Chaitanya rose and he actually embraced King Prataparudra, which which is not a normal thing, which otherwise the Lord Chaitanya wouldn't have done that under any circumstance. He did it because of the greatness of that verse, which we will see in the following now. So this verse describes the messengers of Godhead. And it says that it would be broadcast, and whoever has broadcasting this message are munificent, they are greatest. As he rose and as he embraced King Prataparudra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhuri da jana. Bhuri da jana means one who is munificent. What does munificent mean? One who is very generous in sharing the message of Godhead to everyone. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praises King Prataparudra for his activity, and to really get the benefit. So we can see, or Vaishnavas actually compare the messenger of Godhead to Srila Prabhupada, because it was only Srila Prabhupada who took the message of Godhead and went out all over the world. He went outside the country, that was the first thing, and he went all over the world and gave the holy name to each and every nook and corner of the world. It is said that Srila Prabhupada came or gave this message for us, and consequently, to really experience the gratitude and the appreciation and love that is naturally due to him, it is asked that we have to take advantage of the transcendental gifts that he is given to us. What are those gifts that he is given to us? Krishna Katha, through all his books, his lectures, his morning walks, his conversations, all these are Krishna Katha. The Krishna Katha that Srila Prabhupada gave, that Lord Chaitanya gave, that King Prataparudra gave, is all Amrita, which gives us immortality. It not only gives us immortality, but it also allows us to be part of that eternal journey with Krishna and his associates and with Srila Prabhupada too. So Tapta Jivanam, the Tapta here is compared to the burning and the suffering. Tapta means heat. It is compared to the burning or the suffering in the material life of existence. And the spiritual master is like a cloud who derives his water from the ocean of mercy, and he pours down the water in the form of rain to help us get rid of this blazing fire of material existence. How do they do that? Through the Krishna Katha. So the Krishna Katha is poured upon the conditioned souls by Srila Prabhupada and spiritual masters. The Tapta's another meaning is also the fire of separation from Krishna, or the separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, or the fire of separation from Radharani and the gopis. So all this is compared to the fire of separation from Krishna. Krishna Katha also gives devotees who are suffering from Krishna Prema, or it also gives devotees who are suffering from separation of Krishna, who are also suffering from separation from Lord Chaitanya, separation from his associates, separation from Srila Prabhupada, a solace. So it is recommended that people hear Krishna Katha from senior Vaishnavas and purify and get the comfort, so they remain in this material life without being too much affected by the agony of separation. Kavi Bhi, it means great thinker. Srila Prabhupada is not only a great thinker or a saintly person, but he is also a poet. We see that one devotee who has actually studied philosophy and religion in a university mentions that I have studied so much of philosophy, but the philosophy which Srila Prabhupada has given is priceless. He says, whatever the university has given me, or the studies that I did, is more like childlike, whereas the philosophy which I got from Srila Prabhupada is more parent-like, which is very supportive in my journey. So like that, we can see that how much of a philosopher, how much of a thinker Srila Prabhupada is. Srila Prabhupada is also a great poet. Srila Prabhupada describes Krishna as Kalmasapaham. What does it mean? Drives away the sinful reactions that gives rise to material misery. Qualities of sadhana bhakti. One of the qualities of sadhana bhakti is kleshagni. What does kleshagni do? It destroys the material desires in the very beginning itself and eradicates the sinful reactions. That enables us to progress in the path of devotional service. So the path of devotional service, the sadhana one does, helps us to get rid of the material miseries and actually helps us to progress in the path of devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that only who is free from sinful reactions and reactions can be engaged in the service unto me with determination. Bhagavad Gita 7:28 says, Yesham vantagatam papam jnananam punya karmanam. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service in determination. Only those people can take to the process of devotional service. So it is recommended that people are able to get rid of their sinful actions and reactions by the process of following the sadhana bhakti. It could be either by the process of chanting, by the process of reading, or by the process of hearing Krishna Katha. And it is also said, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. So if you surrender to me, I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So these things will enable us to progress in our spiritual path. We don't know Krishna, we don't have any relationship to him. So how do we actually have any relationship with Krishna if we don't know him? So we have to actually surrender to the representatives of Krishna, which is our Srila Prabhupada, or which could be our spiritual master. So therefore, what happens is, at the time of initiation, The Guru actually takes up the sinful reactions and allows us to advance in our spiritual life, allows us to understand Krishna very nicely. So even that is more advanced stage, right? So to get initiation is not an easy thing. One has to follow four regulative principles for quite a long time, and then one is actually allowed to give, one is actually eligible to get uh, initiation. So one is encouraged to hear Krishna Katha, to read Srila Prabhupada books and chant the holy names to eradicate the sinful actions and reactions. Shravana Mangalam. What happens when all the sinful reactions and action goes off? It leads to auspiciousness, or it provides us immense spiritual benefit. So by following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, one is able to get the auspiciousness. And along with this auspiciousness, it also bestows subhada, there's some sort of happiness, not the happiness that we get when one reaches bhava or prema stage, but even in the beginning stages, a devotee is able to experience some sort of happiness. What are those happiness? Like one actually, while they sing and dance if in front of the Lord, or while they partake prasadam, or while they associate with devotees, they do get some sort of happiness, right? So that is the sort of happiness that is mentioned here. Srila Prabhupada also says, chant and be happy. And they go, because they go together, especially when we avoid offenses, that will also help us. Srimadattatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is broadcast all over the world. And who is doing this? A person like Prabhupada is broadcasting this message all over the world. This phrase, no one before Srila Prabhupada has done that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur did print books and he distributed to universities all over the world. But Srila Prabhupada was the first person who left the country to spread the message of Godhead to lot other countries throughout the world. And how did he get the message to all over the world? He wrote books, he went personally, he gave talks, he made conversations with a lot of people, and that's how the message had spread like fire all over the world. Bhuvi Grinanti. He spreads the message of Krishna all over the world. And those who do so are called Bhurijana, Bhurida Jana. And their Bhurida Jana means, we saw it is munificent. And this is one of the qualities of Lord Chaitanya. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. So what does Srila Rupa Goswami say? He says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the most munificent incarnation of Godhead. He descended to give the message of, he came down to propagate the holy name to every nook and corner of the world. And similarly, Srila Prabhupada said that devotees of ISKCON and even the temple presidents should all be very munificent, and we who are following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya should also be munificent. So we all should be munificent. So how can we do that? By giving talks on Krishna, by giving the message of Krishna, by actually distributing Srila Prabhupada's books to one and all. We can endeavor to repay our debt to Srila Prabhupada. And who is the spiritual master for all of us. And of course, to preach, one must have the spiritual strength. And how does one get the spiritual strength? By following the four regulative principles. If we have to make a change in heart in somebody, our heart must be purified. So that is how we are able to get take the message to people, different people. Text 10. Prahasitam priya prema vikshanam viharanam chate dhyanamangalam rahasi samido ya hridi sprisha kuhakano mana Shobhayantihi. Your smiles, your sweet, loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoyed with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon. And they touch our hearts, but at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. So they appreciate Krishna's smiles, his sweet loving glances and pastimes. At the same time, they say it is agitating their minds. Chalasi yat vrajak charayan pasun nalina sundaram natate padam silatrinan kurei siddhati naha Kalilatamana Kantagachati. Dear Master, dear lover, when you leave the cowherd village to herd the cows, our minds are disturbed with the thought that your lotus feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked by the spiked husk of grain on the rough grass and plants. So the gopis are worried that Krishna's feet will be pricked by the spikes of rough grass and plants. Dina parikshaye Dina parikshaye Nila kuntaler Vanaruhananam Bibratavritam Ganarajaswalam Darsayan Muhur Manasina Smaram Virayachasi. At the end of the day, you repeatedly show us your lotus face covered with dark blue locks of hair and thickly powdered with dust. Thus, O hero, you arouse lusty desires in our minds. So they again glorify Krishna about the dark blue locks of hair on his face. Next verse, verse 13. Pranatakamadam Padmajachitam Dharani Mandanam Deyamapadi Charana Pankajam Shantamam Chate Ramananastanesh Arpayadihan. Your lotus feet, which are worshipped by Lord Brahma, fulfill the desires of all who bow down to them. They are ornament of earth. They give the highest satisfaction, and in times of danger, they are the appropriate object of meditation. O lover, O destroyer of anxiety, please put those lotus feet upon our breasts. So they request Krishna, the gopis request Krishna to offer his lotus feet to them. Suratavardhanam Sukanasanam Svaritavenunam Shushtukumbitam Itararagavesh Smaranamrinam Vitaraviranaas Tedaramritam. O hero, kindly distribute to us the nectar of your lips, which enhances conjugal pleasure and vanquishes grief. That nectar is thoroughly relished by your vibrating flute and makes people forget any other attachment. Again, here the gopis glorify the Lord. They have an argument also with the Lord, saying, "You're the Lord of all medicine. Please give us the medicine so it will purify us of our material existence." Krishna says, "No, no, but the diet of that people in this world is the bad one, and that is of the attachment of wealth and followers and family and so forth. So this particular medicine you have requested should not be given to those with such a bad diet." But gopis say, but this medicine makes one forget all other attachments. So wonderful is this herbal drug, so please give it to us. Text 15. अतीतयात् भवान् आनिकाननां श्रुतियुगायते त्वामपास्यताम् कुटिलकुण्ठलां श्रीमुखां च ते जडमुदीक्षताम् Pakshmakridrisham. When you go off to the forest during the day, a tiny fraction of a second becomes like a millennium for us, because we cannot see you. And even when we can eagerly look upon your beautiful face, so lovely, which is adorned with the curly locks, our pleasure is hindered by our eyelids, which were fashioned by the foolish Creator. So here the gopis actually crib that those eyelids are actually hindering to see you continuously, my lord, and then they're blaming the creator for having created these eyelids. Verse 16. Pati sutan vaya bhratrabandhavan ati vilangyate Antyachutagata Gati Vidastavod Gita Mohita Kitavayoshita Kasya Jenishi. Dear Achyuta, you know very well why we have come here. Who but a cheater like you would abandon young women who come to see him in the middle of the night, enchanted by the loud song of his flute? Just to see you, we have completely rejected our husbands, children, ancestors, brothers, and other relatives. So the gopis are arguing with Krishna. How can you abandon women who have come to see you? We have left our family, husbands, and everybody, and have come, and how can you reject us? Verse 17. Rahasi samvidam hrichayodayam prahasi sthitanam prema vekshanam brihadurashriyo vrikshayadama muhurati spriha Muyate mana. Our minds are repeatedly bewildered as we think of the intimate conversations we had with you in secret. Feel the rise of lust in our hearts and remember your smiling face, your loving glances, and your broad chest. This is the resting place for the goddess of fortune. Thus we experience the most severe hankering for you. Braja verse 18. Vrajavinoda Mataji Vrijinahantralam Vishwamangalam Tvajamanachanas Tvatsprihatmanam Swajana Hridrojam Yanishudanam. O beloved, your all auspicious appearances vanquish the distress of those who are living in Veja's forest. Our minds long for your association. Please give to us just a bit of that medicine which counteracts the disease in your devotees' hearts. So they're glorifying the appearance of Krishna here. Text 19. Yakte sujata charanam buroham staneshu Bhītāsanai priya dadimahi karkaseshu tena tave matashi tad vyadetena kim sved kurpadibir pramatidir bhavadayusham naha. Oh, dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your lotus feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest. So, like this, the gopis are again worried about Krishna's lotus feet because he's walking barefooted in Vrindavan, and they are worried that those pebbles might hurt his tender feet. So, in these 19 verses, we have seen each gopi has expressed their ecstasy of the separation from Krishna in their words, and we have seen that in today's session. So that's the end of Gopi Gita session. Thank you everybody. Hare Krishna.